And now let's take our first question from one of our debate partners. This comes from a member of the Old Dominion Bar Association, and this time it's a question about defunding the police.
Good evening. My name is Bruce Sams. I'm president of the Old Dominion Bar Association. My question to each of you is, noting the current social unrest involving social injustices in the United States, state whether or not you are in favor of defunding police departments, or do you believe that would be akin to throwing out the baby with the bathwater?
You heard the question. Dr. Gade will begin with you. 60 seconds. Your response to this question about defunding the police.
Well, as you can imagine, Bruce, thank you for that question. And as you can imagine, I'm not for defunding the police. As a matter of fact, the police need more funding for training, for body cameras, for ways to do reporting that protect the most vulnerable among us. And if there is a more evil idea in all of public policy than defunding the police, I don't know what it is. And here's why. Because the very people who are made vulnerable by police violence when police go rogue are the ones who are going to be made violence when who are going to be made victims when there are no police to call, and that's single moms in areas that are already blighted. So that I am not for defunding the police, but I'll point you back to the fact that Mark Warner, when he was governor, did defund the police by $50 million, and it put Virginians at risk, and he needs to own up to it and answer for that bad record.
Senator Warner, 60 seconds.
I'll yield back the 15 seconds happily.
I do not support defunding the police. Matter of fact, in certain areas, we may need additional funding, particularly around training. You know, I'm not sure it's fair to law enforcement officers when we send them into circumstances, oftentimes, that may be mental health issues, domestic disputes. You know, in America, in certain communities, you can become a police officer with 10 weeks in a police academy. In many nations in Europe, it takes a couple years. Shouldn't we provide that additional training to law enforcement officers so the first resort is not to go to a no-knock or to a chokehold or other activities? Shouldn't we make the kind of investment and, frankly, at times, support additional mental health officers being able to sometimes go out with law enforcement officers? I think there are ways to grapple with this issue, but it's going to require the kind of comprehensive policing reform that the legislation I work with Kamala Harris, needs the vote. It's already passed the House, needs to pass the Senate and become the law of the land.